All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Yula Nzale. Derek Kimathi, the owner of the illegal gas filling plant that exploded on Thursday, resulting in the death of 6 people and over 250 others left nursing serious injuries, will spend the night in police custody after he surrendered at the Embakasi police station. Kimathi presented himself at the police station in the company of his lawyer, Wandugi Karade, 4 days after the police launched a manhunt for him as the main suspect for operating the plant illegally. Others who appeared before detectives in Embakasi were 2 suspended NEMA officials who were grilled over the manner in which Kimathi got a license from NEMA to operate the plant. Meanwhile, IPRA officials and police have dismissed claims that there is leakage at the plant, as had been reported by a section of the residents there.
Derek Kimathi, the owner of the illegal gas filling plant in Embakasi, arrived at the station around 11 a.m. 4 days after DCI launched a manhunt for him. Accompanied by his lawyer Wandugi Karade, the businessman was grilled for over 6 hours at the Sub-County Criminal Investigations Officer's office. Kimathi has been accused of running an illegal business that resulted in the death of 6 people and injuries of over 250 others. Claims that the businessman has, through his lawyer, dismissed, arguing that he was operating a garage. However, a visit to the site reveals otherwise. EPRA officials have discovered 4 storage tanks in the facility which had closing and opening valves for loading gas cylinders. Others who recorded statements with detectives were 2 suspended NEMA officials who presented themselves at Embakasi police station, accompanied by their lawyers David Ongare, the Director of Environmental Compliance and Head of Environmental Impact Assessment Joseph Macau, have been grilled over NEMA's role in allowing the plant to operate. NEMA board suspended the 4 on grounds that they unprocedurally processed the license of the plant and are therefore culpable. The grilling comes even as EPRA officials who have been blamed for failing to prevent the explosion by working with security agencies to stop activities at the plant, even after rejecting their letter of operation, assured Mradi residents that the site was safe. The assurance followed a Monday morning scare where residents were advised to move out of their houses on claims that there was leakage from the explosion site.
Tumefungua tanki zote, tuko na tanki 4. Tanki moja ndogo imefunguliwa, haina gas. Na zile zingine 3 tumefungua valve zake zote, hazina gesi. So tunahakikishia kwa hii site hakuna gas ambayo inaweza dhuru mtu. Zote ziko empty.
We are doing all our best to ensure that nothing is actually left behind that can hurt or harm the future and the life of our children here. So we assure the teachers that let other normalities resume normal. Let's resume normal. Watu warudi shule, watoto warudi shuleni.
The Nairobi County government has put the number of those still admitted in hospital at 60. 15 cases of missing persons have also been reported, with a plan to reunite them with their loved ones currently underway. The county says 148 households have been displaced by the tragedy, while 50 businesses were affected. The proposal to close the Embakasi Social Hall temporary IDP camp, where families sought shelter after the incident happened, has divided county administration, local leaders and the victims, with complaints that the 10,000 shillings compensation is too little for the affected families to rebuild their lives.
We have 30 families. These are the ones we seek to finally reintegrate to the community, involving their neighbors, their relatives, their friends. And those who do not have relatives or neighbors or friends, we will be supporting them to get back to their footing and proceed with their life.
Mimi nichome kila kitu yani vile nimesimama hivi ni mimi na kila kitu vile nimesimama hivi yani ni mimi hivyo. But nyumba natuka. But to make it worse, sisi ambapo tumeudhirika hatuna popote, hatuna mpaka tunaomba penye tunalala.
County government na 245 million tukitoa siasa inatoa 250,000 kupatia kila mtu 10,000 Kenya shillings. The least amount of money that the county government should give is 100,000 per person. 100,000, you are sure utapata rent, utapata clothes, utapata watoto wajaenda shule. Ni manyumba zao zimechomeka, watoto wako hapa wanalia. My uniforms zimechomeka.
The affected residents have urged the national government to contribute towards the resettlement kitty.
Now, Azimio leader Raila Odinga has today laid blame on the Nairobi County government for the weekend explosion in Embakasi that has so far claimed 6 lives. Speaking in Kisumu County, Odinga cited negligence on the part of the County of Nairobi for failing to demarcate residential areas from business premises in what he said is a tragedy that could have been averted with proper urban planning. And as Loro Tieno now reports, the Azimio chief has once again made a case for the affordable housing project, even as he asked government to look for alternative financing of the project instead of burdening Kenyans who are already overstretched due to the high cost of living.
4 days after the Embakasi explosion, whose death toll currently stands at 6, Azimio Chief Raila Odinga has broken his silence, placing the blame squarely on the shoulders of the Nairobi County government. Odinga pointed out the laxity of the devolved unit to issue and implement a land use schedule that would separate what he said were highly hazardous businesses from residential areas. The Azimio leader further castigating the Nairobi County governor for the mushrooming of business establishments across the city that endanger the lives of Nairobi residents.
Nairobi is mourning its dead and treating hundreds of injured because the city ignored planning and allowed a gas filling plant where none was supposed to be. Even our roads as a country have become death traps because planning was long discarded.
Odinga appealed to counties to take stringent measures in implementing urban planning and land use blueprints, including the demolition of structures sitting on areas set aside for infrastructure and drainage works in order to attract investments that will offer job opportunities.
It will be unpopular to do this kind of work. Like I know the name that is on the lips of most people in town, Mr. Balawanga. I congratulate him. But investors can't put their money where there is neither order nor planning, nor law.
While declaring his support for the affordable housing project, which was also in the Azimio manifesto, Odinga once again thwarted the Kenya Kwanza administration for the means of funding the project, asking President Ruto to seek the expertise of those that crafted the first blueprint instead of burdening Kenyans through the levy.
After independence, because there was this influx of people moving from rural areas into town, urban migration is a universal phenomenon. But here people did not plan for it. And when at one time in my earlier incarnation as a Minister for Roads, Public Works and Housing, I came up with a program called slum upgrading to upgrade those so-called informal settlements. But that is a subject for another day.
We must provide good roads, good water system, sewage, drainage, electricity, so that although we are still awaiting to give them good housing, but these services must be there adequately as they need them.
Loro Tieno, Citizen TV.
Well, away from that, the Ministry of Education has defended its directive to schools to pay fees through the e-Citizen platform. The CS for Education, Ezekiel Mashogu, says that the move is aimed at enhancing transparency and accountability over the management of school funds. The defense comes as the Post-Primary Teachers Union faulted the ministry for making a major shift in school fees policy without engaging stakeholders. Brenda Wanga has more.
With just a day to the deadline for national school heads to furnish the Ministry of Education with bank account details to facilitate the rollout of payment of school fees through the e-Citizen platform, stakeholders in the education sector are raising questions on the implementation of this directive.
But I've said the schools operate different accounts. Which account does the Cabinet Principal Secretary want the schools to submit?
The union also questions what safeguards will be put in place to ensure that the money paid to the central portal will get back to the schools in good time to enable them carry out the administrative work.
The boarding is not run by government, whether it is a national school or a day school or a county school. That boarding section is not run by government. It is run by parents in liaison with the schools. So how is the minister or the cabinet or the principal secretary suggesting to us that with the e-platform, then the tag we have always given them that our public secondary schools are the largest private enterprises is going to be removed.
And as the government lays the groundwork for this change, education stakeholders are raising fears that the delays that have been witnessed in the disbursement of funds for education might be replicated here. But beyond the questions on the implementation of this new policy, some parents say the new system will disadvantage them, especially for those who enter into local arrangements with school in lieu of cash payments.
Wale wanalipa na kuni mnauliza tu watafanya nini? Watoto wao watasoma kweli? Sababu ni vizuri kuuliza. Wengine hata wamekuwa wakileta mahindi. Na lazima shule waelewe, principal wapate kuelewa hawa, ili watoto wao wapate nafasi ya kusoma.
In a rejoinder, the CS for Education, in a meeting with ministry officials, defended the directive, stating that it was meant at ensuring transparency and openness. The same message coming from the Ministry of Interior through the State Department for Immigration and Citizen Services, which says the move to have school fees paid through the e-citizen is driven by the need to harmonize the collection of school fees, enhance the coordination of the process, and promote transparency and accountability. It is also meant to entrench an effective monitoring system on compliance with the relevant policies and regulations governing levying and payment of fees in public schools. The PS Julius Bitok says the change in school fee payment system will be carried out in phases, with the national schools piloting it before being rolled out to extra and county schools. He also assured school heads that they will be able to access the money promptly once parents pay it into the e-citizen system. The rollout of the program, however, could run into headwinds as legislators from the opposition have vowed to move to court to stop it.
Tutaenda kotini na tutaisimamisha hiyo. Kwa sababu hatutaki kuongezea mzigo wananchi.
We shall come for you if you force principals to go into one portal which already has leakages.
Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV.
The National Assembly is in the next 2 weeks expected to debate the report of the National Dialogue Committee that will then kickstart the process of generating a bill to review the electoral laws and facilitate the reconstitution of the polls body, IEBC. Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah says Parliament is alive to the concerns raised over the stalling of operations in the Commission, and that although the court was right in directing the IEBC selection panel to continue the process of reconstituting the Commission, the political truce between President Ruto and opposition leader Raila Odinga will take precedence. Chemutai Goin has more.
With fears rife that the country will run into a constitutional crisis as the period within which the polls body IEBC is expected to carry out boundary delimitation goes by, the long process in reconstituting the Electoral Commission is not making it any better. The earliest the country could get a clear roadmap to having a commission is dependent on the approval by Parliament of the report of the National Dialogue Committee, which proposed a bipartisan approach.
We also intend on keeping our word in terms of the National Dialogue Committee's work and the engagements that we had with our colleagues, because at the end of the day we also want a process where we are not seen to be controlling the recruitment of IEBC commissioners, and therefore we want to do this in good faith. We want to have a process that is inclusive.
The report, which was tabled in Parliament before the House went on a long recess, is set to come up for debate in a fortnight. I
hope the Leader of Minority has agreed on the membership in the House Business Committee and also mobilize their members to quickly adopt the NADCO report, as he mentioned. And we will do the same on the Kenya Kwanza side so that we have a law, because justifiably the people of Banisa and the other wards that are due for by-elections deserve representation as a matter of their constitutional rights.
The report proposed that a bill be drafted addressing not just the issue of reconstitution of the polls body, but also one that will propose amendments to the existing electoral laws that have often caused strife post the election.
There is also the urgency with the review of boundaries although we have a challenge that we also noted in NADCO. Whether or not we have a commission today, the delimitation of boundaries cannot be completed within a month before the end of March this year. So we have challenges, we had proposals on what we may need to do on that, and we will be pursuing those also.
Justice Mugure Thande had last week directed the IEBC selection panel to resume reconstituting the commission after constitutional experts sounded a warning over the looming constitutional crisis.
Justice Mugure Thande was right in asking that the IEBC selection panel ought to complete the process to recruit commissioners, because that is a position of the law. But laws are also informed by other circumstances, and also the law is a law.
Opposition leader Raila Odinga had Sunday, however, rubbished the directive, saying the selection panel, which had begun shortlisting interested candidates, had been dismissed by Parliament.
Parliament has not stopped the panel from doing its work. Parliament has no power to stop the panel. It's just that the panel is doing its work in line with the law. And therefore, all we can pray for is that probably before the panel completes their work, Parliament then will have worked on a new law.
Following the resignation of the 3 commissioners post the 2022 general election, the subsequent exit of Chairman Wafula Chebukati and 2 other commissioners left the IEBC as a skeleton. The commission's fate now lies before the August House, which resumes its sessions on February 13th. Other priority agenda before the House will be the consideration of the contentious Affordable Housing Bill. Chemutai Goins, Citizen TV.
Well, I'm afraid I have some sad news now. So police in Kisii are investigating the mysterious death of a 2-year-old baby at a daycare center. The minor was allegedly choked by food within the facility and was pronounced dead at the Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital. And as Crispin Otieno now reports, parents of the minor demanding to know the circumstances that led to the death of their only daughter.
Monday morning, we caught up with Stephen Omondi and his wife, Vaniti Ndila, outside the apartment in Nyanchwa Estate within Kisii town. The young couple struggling to come to terms with the sudden death of their only daughter, Raya Gweth, who is reported to have been choked to death on Saturday, moments after her mother dropped her at a daycare center. The mother would later on Saturday evening receive a call from the facility about the news broken to her, shattering her world.
Ndo niko na the attendant akaniambia ni kama pia nao walikuwa in shock, wanaulizana mwambie. Ndio aliponiambia sasa ni kama mtoto amekufa, mwanangu wako anapumua, mwanangu alikuwa ameanza kwa baridi.
Sababu wakati alipeleka hospitali alikuwa ni sawa, na pia tukifika hospitali tunaambiwa kuwa alifika kuwa ashakufa.
A post-mortem examination conducted on Sunday at the Kisii Teaching and Referral Hospital indicates that the minor was choked to death by what appeared to be a solid food.
Daktari anasema alichoke, na kama ni kuchoke hiyo ni kama alikuwa anang'ang'ana ku food ilienda kwa windpipe.
The family, however, wants a thorough investigation into the matter, even as they commence plans for their daughter's interment.
Alafu ningependelea tu polisi wazidi kufanya uchunguzi kwa haraka, sababu tuko pia na mpango wa kwenda kukuzika baby Bade Gweth, ndaenda apumzishwe.
According to Nyanchwa OCPD Kazungu Sharo, owners of the facilities were picked up for questioning but were released on police bond as investigations continue.
We have already launched investigation to establish what exactly transpired. We have taken some DNA samples which have already been submitted to government chemistry. They will assist us in investigation.
The owners of the Dorista daycare declined to speak to Citizen TV when asked about the matter, despite earlier agreeing to an interview. Crispin Otieno, Citizen TV, Kisii.
Sincere condolence to the family. So, former Nairobi Provincial Commissioner Davis Nathan Chelogoi will appear in court on Tuesday in a land case where he is accused of illegally occupying a parcel of land in Loresho. The former PC obtained an anticipatory bail of 200,000 shillings pending his appearance in court after a warrant of arrest was issued against him. The warrant was issued after he failed to appear in court for the case in December. Chelugoi charged alongside Assistant Deputy Director in the Lands Administration Office, Andrew Aseri Kirungu, with conspiracy to defraud a parcel of land valued at 1.35 billion is their charge. Now, Kenya and Poland have signed two memorandum of understanding that seek to solidify relations between the two countries. The two agreements signed today are on agricultural cooperation and tax solidarity program. Addressing the media at State House in Nairobi after a closed-door meeting with the visiting Polish President Andrzej Duda, President Ruto revealed that the talks centered on how the two countries will enhance trade and investment. Ruto says he invited the high-powered delegation accompanying the president to invest in the numerous opportunities that Kenya has to offer.
These MOUs will cement our aspirations to promote bilateral partnerships in their respective sectors and open up new avenues for collaboration between the two countries and peoples. Several other MOUs are in the pipeline, and we are committed to ensuring their successful implementation.
It will give us an opportunity to show also to the farmers and to representatives of the Ministry of Agriculture from Kenya how our agricultural sector works, how it looks like, and also the milk sector, the dairy sector, what it looks like. So today, these were the main topics of our conversation.
All right, we're about to take a quick break now on Monday Report. When we come back, we have a lot to cover for you and also talk about the SHIF, which is the Social Health Insurance Fund, why there was necessity to move from NHIF to SHIF. But before that, there's information coming to us from the Buckingham Palace. They're saying now that King Charles has been diagnosed with a form of cancer. They're clarifying that it is not prostate cancer that was discovered during his treatment for an enlarged prostate. The type of cancer has not been revealed, but according to a palace statement, the king began regular treatments on Monday, which is today. But also further says that Buckingham Palace says the king remains wholly positive about his treatment and looks forward to returning to full public duty as soon as possible. But for now, he'll be taking a back seat from public appearances. This is information coming through to us from Buckingham Palace just a few moments ago that King Charles III, who is 75 years old now, has been diagnosed with cancer, and he will be staying off the public for some time as the members of the royal family continue with official duty, but he remains wholly positive as he starts his treatment. This is just latest information coming through. And welcome back. So close to a month after 2023 KCP candidates joined Form 1 in secondary schools, one 14-year-old girl is still at home in Getwaret village in Kericho County due to lack of school fees. Michelle Chepto is 2 times unlucky. After she repeated school to give her another chance at joining high school, she's yet to join high school. She is staring at missing the opportunity due to lack of school fees. And as Martin Munene now reports, Chepto has had to join her mother in tea picking for their daily survival.
Michelle Chepto's dream of joining high school is dimming by the day. The 14-year-old girl first sat a KCP in 2022, but due to financial constraints, she had to repeat class 8 in a school that is 10 kilometers from her home.
Nika transfer kwenda shule ya Kamchaiwe about 10 kilometers away. Nilipoenda shule nilikuwa nikiamka kila asubuhi na mapema 5 o'clock. Kwa nikichikaza sana, hata saa zingine nilikuwa nikivaa nguo yenye ilikuwa wet. Vile nilikuwa nikienda nilikuwa nafika shuleni nikiwa nimechelewa.
Huyu mtoto ni mtoto ile napenda masomo kabisa. Anasoma kabisa saa yote iko na kitabu.
She remembers her experience all too well, but she did not give up. Chepto worked even harder, and despite the odds against her, she managed to get 314 marks and gained admission at Masubeti Girls High School. But again, lack of funds has kept her dream away from her reach.
Shule Masubeti Girls
nikamwambia yeye arudie juu sina pesa. Yeye akalia kabisa. Akasema sijui nitarudia mama na nilipita hivi. Nikamwambia urudie juu sina pesa. Huyo mtoto akalia mpaka hata mimi nikalia.
Na mambo nimekuwa mangumu. Nikakaa nyumbani nikaona wacha nirudie tena. Sina uwezo huo kwa sababu mamangu anaenda kibarua. Anachopata katika kibarua tunakula hizo pesa zote.
And as other students with whom she sat her exams continue learning, Chepto has had to join her mother in farms, trying to help her get a little bit more than usual with the hope that somehow she will find her way to school.
Huyu mtoto naenda kusaidia mama yake kuchuna naye chai. Alafu napata chakula ya kukula.
Huyu mtoto achaenda shule sababu mama yake hana pesa.
Now she hopes against hope that she will find someone to hold her hand and get her closer to her goal of joining high school and later be a greater help to her family.
Nikienda shule nataka kuwa journalist. Alafu niweze kusaidia wazazi wangu. Niweze kununulia mamangu shamba.
Nataka huyu mtoto akuwe daktari lakini anataka kuwa journalist.
Martin Munene, Citizen TV.
Kito Mo, a worker who was attacked and killed by Kakamega Senator Boni Halwale's bull, has been laid to rest in Malenya in Kakamega County. The late Kizito was eulogized as a person who loved his work. Burial plans were initially stopped by DCI homicide detectives to allow conclusion of investigations. A post-mortem examination of his body revealed that he died from a stab from a non-sharp object. The burial preceded a bullfighting event held to honor him.
Kimila ya Waidaho, mtoto kama Moi venye amekufa hivi katika hiyo hali huwa anazikwa. Akishazikwa basi wananchi huwa wanajumuika pamoja kwa ajili ya kuendeleza shughuli ambayo unaona inaendelea hivyo. Baada ya pastors kumaliza shughuli zao zote, basi viongozi pamoja na waigizaji wale ambao wakufanya utamaduni wetu wa bullfighting wao wanakuja hivyo na ngoma ya kitamaduni yenye napiga hiyo kwa ajili ya kuhakikisha kwamba wanamsindikiza katika hiyo hali.
Mpaka mtu mwingine anaweza kuwa na kifaranga kidogo alete hapo bibebanako. Hata mmoja hiyo ikuje ianze kung'orusha hiyo kaburi hiyo.
Kulingana na hii mayo kwa roho yake imekuwa nzuri kwa sababu ng'ombe zimemaliza vita, hakuna ng'ombe imedunga mtu, hakuna majeruhi yote yamepatikana. Kwa hivyo inamaanisha roho yake mahali iko imefurahi.
Now, the Council of Governors wants the national government to take over the payment of doctors who go on study leave, insisting it is becoming extremely strenuous for counties to continue paying doctors who are not of service to the counties. COG Health Committee Chair and Tharaka Nithi Governor Mudhomi Njuki says the national government should take up the mantle for a short time to free up the county's payroll to allow them recruit temporary doctors to fill the gaps.
The arrangement we have at the moment is just what they call bonding, where you bond a doctor who has gone on postgraduate to come to your county and serve for some time. But surely human health cannot wait for these doctors to come back because life is continuous, and therefore while they're away, we need to be able to take care of the patient, and therefore we need to hire patients. Those resources are not realized because we are paying for doctors who are away. Very big payrolls, but very few physical doctors available in the counties. A case in point is Tharaka Nithi, where the last time I checked, we have a total of about 36 doctors, but 14 of them are on study leave. So if you follow the records, you'll think that our health facilities are very well staffed with medical doctors, but which is not the case.
Well, newly sworn in Namibian President Nangolo Mbumba will not run for office in the upcoming polls slated for the end of the year 2024 in Namibia. His revelation comes just shortly after he was sworn in as President of Namibia after the death of President Hage Geingob, who died early Sunday at Lady Pohamba Hospital in Windhoek, where he was receiving treatment weeks after he was diagnosed with cancer.
do hereby swear that I will strive to the best of my ability.
Newly sworn-in Namibian President Nangolo Mbumba will serve in the role of president until elections due later this year. The 82-year-old Mbumba says he has no intention to run for office in the 2024 elections.
I'm not going to be around for the elections, so don't panic. You are telling yourself already stories. I will be serving you for the remainder of Dr. Gaingob's term of office. We understand one another. Let us support one another.
Mbumba went on to express gratitude to the Namibian people, saying he had achieved what he wanted in life.
My aim was to be a school principal, which I achieved. And now I have to thank the Namibian people for the honor they have bestowed on me to be their president for a short period of time.
His decision paves the way for Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah, newly appointed vice president and nominee of the ruling Southwest Africa People's Organization, to be on the ballot and potentially make history as Namibia's first female president.
It's an honor, and with a sense of responsibility, that I have accepted the appointment to serve in the office of the Vice President.
Namibia is in mourning following the death of President Hage Geingob, with world leaders sending their tributes to the late president. A high-level committee has been established to lead preparations for the funeral of the late President Hage Geingob. The date of the funeral is yet to be announced. Lillian Muli, Citizen TV.
All right, on that note, we're taking a quick break. Your Money Report. When we come back, we still have a lot lined up for you, including a chance to ask all the questions in regards to the new health insurance scheme. That's why we have the chairperson who will be here. Send in all your questions at Trevor, Ombija at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag. Thanks for staying with the Monday Report. So the government is set to increase the capacity of the East African Device Assembly in Kenya Limited in an effort to saturate the market with the low-cost smartphone devices. ICT CS Eliud Owalo says this during the preparatory meeting for the World Telecommunication Standardization Assembly, which brings together stakeholders in the ICT sector drawn from across the continent to deliberate on areas of collaboration such as mobile network interoperability across the globe, as well as the security of networks and the required investments to unlock the economic potential of the ICT sector. Jimmy Bogo with the details.
The ICT sector in Africa will require at least $100 trillion worth of investment to be able to onboard everyone into the ICT grid. This is according to John Omo, the Secretary General of the Africa Telecommunication Union, who knows that the continent still lags behind in ICT infrastructure, which is required to enable the continent to achieve the full ICT potential. Speaking on the sidelines of the ongoing preparatory meeting for the World Telecommunication Standardization Assembly, WTSA 24, Mr. Omo called on African governments to develop policies that are conducive to private sector investment.
What was, a universal access 20 years ago is no longer the standard now. So what we need to talk a lot more is how are we facilitating our communities in terms of our digital transformation strategies as governments to ensure that each and every person is enabled to participate. Enabling them also calls upon us to ensure that there is education, they know how to use these gadgets, they know how to use these gadgets for their benefit.
ICT Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo, on his part, noted that the government had put in place measures to ensure inclusivity by setting up 2,261 public Wi-Fi hotspots across the country and further digitizing 15,372 services, up from 350 services when they took over. The CS now says to further increase inclusivity in digitization, the government is working to increase the capacity of the East Africa Device Assembly Kenya Limited to provide affordable phones to a wider base.
We foresaw a situation where we may have a deficit in the market in terms of the number of Kenyans who have got access to smart-enabled telephones. Our local assembly plant has churned out in the Kenyan market a total of 194,000 handsets. We envisage that at optimal capacity utilization levels, we should be able to churn out into the Kenyan market about 3 million handsets annually.
At the same time, the Communication Authority of Kenya has expressed concerns over the existing standards, noting that they do not reflect nor address the challenges faced by African countries, urging their regional counterparts to focus on building resilient systems to boost social and economic development.
If we do not pay attention to global ICT standards, the African region is becoming the dump yard of counterfeit and substandard equipment. With a short lifespan associated with counterfeits, the threat of e-waste management will ultimately become real and catastrophic.
Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
Roads and Transport Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has today flagged off an additional 50 wagons at the Port Reitz Freight Station in Mombasa County. The CS says that the equipment will significantly boost the Madaraka Express freight services. The 50 wagons are expected to boost efficiency and provide reliable transportation solutions for cargo to meet the ever-increasing demand for higher capacity cargo transport options. Kenya Railways Managing Director Philip Mainga said that the corporation, under its current strategic plan, intends to increase the rail market share at the port in the next 5 years.
This first batch of 50 SGR wagons arrived at the port of Mombasa in January 2024, and I have been assured they have been duly inspected by railway engineers and certified for movement. A second batch of 250 wagons were loaded at Tianjin port in China in late January and are expected to arrive later this month.
Through the government and the ministry, we have been able to get the required financing to increase our fleet in terms of wagons and in terms of the number of locomotives that we are using to move our cargo up and down from Mombasa to ICD Nairobi, ICD Naivasha.
Victims of the Embakasi gas explosion are said to benefit from a 400,000 shillings cash donation from the Independent Gas Dealers Association of Kenya. While condoling with families affected by the tragedy, the association has reaffirmed its commitment to safety and compliance of regulatory frameworks. The cash donations have since been handed over to the Red Cross and will be complemented by another 1.5 million shillings donation to cater for food and basic amenities as pledged by the independent gas dealers.
We're also intending to do a blood donation to the victims on various injured individuals who are also in various hospitals. Our members from this conference will be going to different hospitals to ensure the blood is sufficient to the victims. In addition, we are pledging immediately another 1.5 million to the victims.
Our teams continue to work with both government, national, county government and other stakeholders to provide immediate support, and that has included support working jointly with the Ministry of Health for medical support for those that were affected directly by the explosion.
Apiculture is one of the most important agricultural practices taking place in many parts of Kenya, especially the arid and semi-arid areas, with many farmers now embracing beekeeping as a source of income. The challenge, however, has been lack of support towards beekeepers. This is the opportunity Pauline Otila saw and founded Apiculture Venture, an entity working with beekeepers to help them access facilities and sell their products as well. Edward Chea tells us more on our Made in Kenya segment.
Made in Kenya, brought to you by Equity. Bustika from Equity ensures that you don't get stuck when low on cash. So, next time you're sending money, making payments or buying airtime using *247# Equitel or Equity mobile app and you have insufficient funds, simply accept the Bustika prompt and complete your transaction.
In a quiet warehouse in Embakasi, a team of workers is busy with activities. It is all about bees here. This is Apiculture Venture, the brainchild of Pauline Otila.
Apiculture Venture Limited was established in the year 2018. We manufacture beekeeping equipment. We train on modern beekeeping. We offer pollination services. We offer ready market for bee products. and then we also trade our honey under the name Golden Bee Honey. Apiculture Venture is also a commercial beekeeper. So when I say commercial, I mean we lease land, whereby I come, I lease the land, I keep bees, and I pay at a percentage.
Paulina's beekeeping enthusiasm was fueled when she took a course in Israel on bee farming. She came back and started working with small-scale farmers, teaching them about beekeeping and linking them to markets for the byproducts.
I felt this was one of the groups that was really neglected by the big companies that operate in the honey space. So I thought if I start Apiculture Venture, then I'll be able to create ready market for them, advise them, and later on buy the product, pack and sell. So we train them on how modern beekeeping works. We supply them with the equipment. We buy the honey, process the honey, and pack.
Apiculture Venture is now a whole production center running all beekeeping activities, including manufacturing beehives and adding value to bee products.
We come and do a site survey. Is the area viable for beekeeping? Then we come and take the beehives and set them up in the farm. One of the products we'll get from the beehive, which is known by everybody else, is honey. But we also get beeswax from the same beehives. We also get bee pollen from the same beehives. We collect bee propolis from the same beehives. And from the same beehives, as you've seen from the video, we can also collect the bee venom. We make body jellies. These body jellies, they are natural. They are made from the natural products, which is honey and beeswax. We make lip balm. We make hand wash soap. We have hand wash gel. We have shower gel.
For quality control, tunapima asali, unapata tunapima the moisture content. We still measure for the sugars. We do for the pesticide, which is our main test. We still do the test for HMF. Yeah, among the others.
Apiculture Venture makes and installs beehives for farmers on order. The rest of the hive products are sold to individual homes and restaurants after undergoing value addition.
We have an online shop, shop.apicultureventure. You click there, it will lead you to our shop and you'll be able to buy your products. We also do private labeling. The product is ours, all you bring is your label and probably your unique package. Then we pack for you the product. Our honey ranges from 750 to 1,000. This is depending on the quantity you buy. And the beehives also, they range from 5,000 to 7,000 because it depends on the type of wood that we are using.
Apiculture Venture has employed 19 people and works with more than 10,000 farmers across the country. And as Pauline says, more Kenyans are now embracing beekeeping.
Most of the time I train on the job because this is a huge gap in the industry. Then we are able to spot who is best fit for a job here, then we give them jobs.
Hii ndio imekuwa kazi yangu ya mapato yangu, yani kwa kifamilia yangu. Hii ndio kazi yenye imekuwa ikiniinua. Niseme kazi ya saizi hakuna timu ya mwanaume. Kwanza motisha yenye huwa inanipatia nguvu ndani ya hii kazi, bosi wangu ni mwanamke. Na hiyo inanipatia motisha sana ya kuifanya, na sisi hapa tuko wadada yenye tunaweza fanya kazi tofauti.
Pauline looks forward to growing into the East African region and beyond.
We are working towards being the largest honey producer in East and Central Africa, and this is something that I'll achieve. Don't do something because somebody else is doing it. Do your research.
Behind me are hundreds of beehives which have been ordered by farmers across the country, an indication that Kenyans are embracing bee farming despite factors like climate change, which are said to be a hindrance to apiculture across the world. Edward Choya, Made in Kenya, Citizen TV.
Made in.
Time now for some sporting action. The first ever Loop Gravel Cycling Safari Series recorded an impressive entry of over 500 professional amateur and leisure cyclists who converged at Tatu City in Kiambu County. The top category of 120 kilometers distance was won by Team Amani led by Jordan Schleck, Seth Hazikimana and Eric Muhosa. Schleck from Uganda timed 4 hours, 3 minutes and 27 seconds. Hakizimana finished second, almost a minute behind the winner. In the 60 kilometers category, Raymond Mushiri and Tristan Bryan of Team Baiskeli Adventures were too good for the rest of the field, emerging the best among 158 cyclists. Mushiri finished first in 2 hours and 2 minutes and 2 seconds, while Bryan finished second in 2 hours, 17 minutes and 41 seconds. In the lower 20 kilometers category, Alvin Maina of the Team Joy Riders clocked 1 hour, 6 minutes and 23 seconds to emerge the champion. The event, which is organized by a money project supported by Loop Digital Financial Services, aims to promote cycling as a sport and positioning.
is not to be left only to the athlete or to governments. Corporates, as corporate citizens, we have a very important role to play.
We need more corporates to come and support this sport. It's not a cheap sport. I mean, you hear some of the sectors we have talk about the carbon bikes and how much they cost. It's not cheap. And two is that we must take this sport, we must federate it to a lot more. Take it machinani, as we say in this country. And you need corporates to come on board.
I love her energy.
FKF Premier League lead scorer Benson Omala secured a loan move to Algerian side JS Saoura for the rest of the 2023-2024 season. His club, Gor Mahia, is set to receive slightly over 3 million shillings from the Algerian side for the deal. Omala has scored 9 goals for the 20-time league champions this season and leaves the club with a healthy 8-point lead at the top of the standings. This is the second time that Omala is going out on loan after he moved to Sweden's FC Linköping City in March of 2021. Algerian side JS Saoura will pay Gor Mahia 3 million shillings as part of the loan deal, with the player set to pocket 1.3 million shillings per month. At the end of the loan deal, Omala will have earned 7.8 million shillings, and should he impress, the loan move will be turned into a permanent deal. Now, the Junior Golf Foundation US Kids Local Tour teed off at the Vet Lab Sports Club with an impressive 162 junior golfers taking part in the first tournament of the year. The first event did not have the impressive results, as most of the golfers took time off the course to enjoy the holidays in December. 20 elite squad players in the junior ranks missed the first tournament as they are in camp for the All-Africa Junior Championships. Most of them came through as the US Kids Golf model and are playing scratch, meaning they have a handicap of 0 and their scores are level par or under par in the tournaments they play. In some of the results from Vet Lab, Amelia Sheikh had a good start in the new season, winning the girls 13 to 14 years with a score of 14 over par 86. She was 1 stroke better than Sophia Nesbitt in second. Now, in the boys 13 to 14 years old, Yuvraj Rajput emerged the winner with an impressive score of 7 over par 79. Saurav Soni was 4 strokes behind in second, with Justin Guerra a further 3 strokes behind.
Just started getting into the swing of things. So we expect this. The first 2 tournaments are going to be slow, and then the kids are going to ramp up. The one thing I like about it, we had 162 players, which is a good turnout for our first tournament.
Para-rower Sia Sururu headlines the nominees for the Sportswomen with Disability category of the Soya Awards as the selection committee released the nominees for the 3rd category for the award set for 23rd of February 2024. Sururu had a great run in 2023, setting 2 world records in para-rowing. Competition will be stiff for Sururu as she is up against Jane Ndenga of wheelchair tennis. Ndenga won the Nairobi Open 11 Futures singles and reached the quarterfinals of the First Africa Para Games in Ghana and also won a doubles silver. 3rd nominee, Purity Jepkiroi Kandie of Special Olympics from Kitale Special School, won gold medal in the 50 meters race at the Special Olympics in Germany. 1500 meters sensation Nancy Chelagat from Para Athletics won